Positive and negative space. Let's take a look at some of these examples of positive and negative space. Positive space is the areas of artwork filled with the content, and the negative space is the space in between. Each of these examples started out with a shape that got transferred to the other side of the paper. The positive space is the space that was drawn, the shape that was drawn. So in step number 1, I want you to start out with that skinny piece of paper to draw some shapes on the side of the construction paper. Use up the space. One of the things that I think about as I begin making this project is I want to come up with some shapes or designs that could completely fill up that space that's available. I didn't want it to be something that was so small. I wanted it to be interesting or confusing to the eye. Here is a non-example. Please do not just draw shapes randomly in the middle. See how I didn't use any of the edges? Instead, let's make sure that our shapes fill up the space. Now let's go on into step 2, cut and glue. Cut, one shape at a time. Either glue it down right away like I'm doing right now, or write your name on every single piece so that we don't lose any of your pieces. This kind of becomes like a big puzzle by the time that I'm finished. I'm going to carefully cut out my shapes. And if you're like me and have shapes within shapes, like this example, I always return it back to where it came from. I'm going to cut out the smaller shape inside the bigger shape, and so on and so forth, until I have my pieces cut out. Once I have it cut out, I like to glue mine down right away with my glue stick, ensuring that I have it in the same spot. If you look at step 3, carefully arrange your pieces. I am flipping the shape to glue to the other side of the paper. In my head, I started thinking about this is almost like turning a page in a book. Whenever I cut out one shape from one side of the paper, I'm going to flip it to the other side as if it were a piece of paper, and the cut line or the fold line would be right in the center. In the center, you really need to do a nice job watching the edges or the points of your project to make it fit together like that puzzle piece. You want it to be right on that line. So you'll always notice that Mrs. Foxton's always placing it back right where it came from, just to ensure that each shape that I put in place is in the right spot. Look at how I did this one. I flipped the entire thing over and glued it so I knew exactly where it should go on the opposite side. I love the way this is looking. I hope that you have fun creating your own positive and negative spaced items.